Today, October 5th, is the International Day for Teachers as declared by UNESCO. Under the theme, Valuing Teachers, Improving Their Status, we here in St. Martin take the time today on October 5th to celebrate all our teachers who are making a difference in the lives of our children. Though we are not in France to celebrate with UNESCO, people all over the world can show their appreciation for teachers in various ways. By celebrating the profession, by generating an awareness about teachers' issues, by ensuring that teacher respect is part of the natural order of things, by taking the opportunity today and the rest of the month to discuss, compare, learn, share, and improve the lives of our teachers, to show that we on St. Martin value our teachers and are working diligently to improve their lives every day. The Education on the Move Committee, together with the SG UNESCO Marcelia Henry, are, as we speak, busy finalizing the schedule of events for teacher appreciation that will be taking place during the entire month of October. It is celebrated around the world on October 5th, but I'm sure our teachers are quite happy to be on vacation during this week, to be off, to be free of teaching for this week. So even though Teacher Appreciation Day, World Teacher Appreciation Day, will be celebrated during our school vacation, the rest of the month will be dedicated to making our teachers feel even more special. Teachers Appreciation Day, in collaboration with UNESCO and EOM, first of all teachers will receive a letter signed by the minister expressing appreciation as well as a token. All school boards will then get a list of criteria for which to choose the most outstanding teacher. School boards and school managers will be given that criteria and will be giving a time to hand in that selection. In collaboration with EOM and DCOM, we will be interviewing each outstanding teacher and a student to be showcased at the closing off award dinner and dance ceremony. During the month of October, these are the activities that will take place. Every Friday, the ministry staff, Education, Culture, Youth, and Sports, as well as teachers will wear their EOM t-shirts. As I mentioned before, the teachers will receive the gift and a letter of appreciation from me as the Minister of Education. The interviews will take place, and we will be highlighting men in education as well through interviews with the Division of Communications. Teacher Appreciation Fun Day will also be held at Emilia Wilson Park. This is scheduled for now for October 16th. A great day for teachers to come out with their families and for those who appreciate them to come out and celebrate as well. We will also be having the Education on the Move rally for all schools, which is scheduled for the 21st of October. The final Teacher Appreciation Awards Dinner and Dance is scheduled for October 29th, 2016. Of course, the discussions, meetings, I know the teachers are waiting a long awaited meeting with me to follow up on some of the changes that had been suggested and to be updated on where we are. And so somewhere also within that month of October, meetings will be held to update teachers on changes being made within the ministry or within, I should say, public education's quote-unquote school board to bring about the necessary changes that they have been calling for. So I'd like to take this opportunity today to wish all educators, whether in the classroom or in your private homes, all of those who do the after-school programs, teacher assistants, everyone that contributes to making education possible on St. Martin, a happy Teacher Appreciation Day, October 5th, 2016. And that I would implore all persons of St. Martin to continue to value our teachers and work diligently with us to improve their situations. Education is the most powerful tool with which you can change the world. as far as Nelson Mandela is concerned, and it is one of the quotes I hold dearest to my heart. Also, a good teacher is like a candle. It consumes itself in a light to light the way for others. And I continue to wish all teachers the strength, the faith, and the conviction, dedication needed to continue to light the way for the students who look to them for guidance. Happy Teachers Appreciation Day 2016.
Good morning, Cedric. Welcome back. Good morning, ministers. Prime Minister Marlin, one question for you. Today, October 5th, October 10th, we haven't heard anything about the appointment of a governor. Do you have any news on that? Do we know who is the new candidate? Is the governor that we have, has he been replaced, or is he going to stay on? Can you tell us something?
There is no news to report on the appointment, reappointment, replacement of the governor at this time.
Even though we're 5 days away. All right, thanks. Minister Lee, I think you understand that there are too many unfortunate situations when it comes to health on St. Martin. It has just recently taken a life of one of our colleagues. And I'm not going to make this personal, but I remember a couple of weeks ago, don't quote me on a date, you mentioned you had a meeting with the French authorities, including Dr. Jeffrey, etc., where the Dutch side and the French side can work together. In the case of Mr. Allen, and I want to be specific in this case, did the St. Martin Medical Center, and this is if you know, because as a minister and that's a foundation, did you question them actually? Did they ever thought of, at least instead of sending Mr. Allen to Santo Domingo to see a neurologist, to at least cross the border and try to work with our French authorities, because we do have a neurologist on the French side, because taking him to Santo Domingo at least delayed the process for quite a number of hours until things can get rolling. And by taking him there, it actually deprived his bereaved wife and all of his friends and colleagues from spending the last moments with him until he transitioned. Do you know if the St. Martin Medical Center would ever consider working with their French counterpart where there is lacking of specialists here, but there is one just across the border?
Thanks, Bibi. Obviously, the questions regarding Samuel Allen, I can't comment on the specifics of his personal situation. I can comment about the discussions that have been ongoing since the time I've become minister about cooperation with the French side. As you know, there's a MOU, an agreement
Yes.
for cooperation between the two hospitals. This was part of the process in deciding what the new hospital for St. Martin should look like, because it depends a lot in terms of will there be some level of structured cooperation between the two sides. There actually was an agreement that was signed by all the parties, but then unfortunately the bureaucracy, once you enter into an agreement cross borders, it needs to go to Foreign Affairs, the governor needs to take a look at it. So from the process from the Dutch side, everything's been completed. It's then gone to the French side, to the ARS. But as soon as Foreign Affairs from Dutch side got involved, all of a sudden the document's been kicked up to Paris now for their comments and for their approval to sign the document. So unfortunately, this is one of the complications with cross-border agreements. I think in principle it's basically done. I don't see how the French government will have any issues with it, because it really is as simple as a handshake agreement to work together. There really are not, let's say, binding penalties or costs associated with the agreement. It really is about structured cooperation to exactly what you're talking about, synchronizing the health insurances and complementary care rather than competing services. So it just makes sense. It's unfortunately just the bureaucracy of government.
On the new hospital, the last time we spoke, when you had your press conference, you said the hospital was still busy seeking financing. But just now in your presentation, you said you are going to do a detailed transition. Can you tell us at this moment if you have secured financing for the hospital and if SZV made any kind of deposit to INZO?
I can't comment about the deposits. In terms of the financing, we're close. I mean, I would love to leave office with the financing complete. So, unfortunately, when you deal with financiers, it's almost like dealing with government. You know, they have their processes, they have their review process, they have their investment committees, and so that's continuing. I think we're very close, but in terms of, you know, when someone can actually sign, I couldn't tell you.
I think we have enough time for some follow-up questions, so you'll have that round, Bibi, but thank you very much for your questions. In this round, Andrew Dick, Daily Herald, you have the floor. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Prime Minister, on the appointment of the CEO of Telem, is there any news, any new development as far as that's concerned?
No, there are no new developments. The vetting was completed by the Corporate Governance Council, and I guess because of the busy schedule of the minister during leading up to the election, none of it was finalized.
Also, the Minister of Tourism, we haven't seen her for a while, so maybe you can help me out with the appointment for the airport director and also STA. Any update on that?
No,
Not yet.
I have no update on the airport. What we did have was a discussion as to what exactly was taking place. We understood there was some 150, and I'm saying, you know, I don't think it's appropriate for me to indulge in, you know, what would amount to rumors, but I was told that there were some 150 applicants. What I do know is that two persons who are pretty much versed, knowledgeable of airport operations, both from work experience and from education, both with college education, said that they approached me and said that they applied, and shortly after sending out their application, they got an answer that they did not meet the criteria. So they found it rather strangely that they were not even given an opportunity for an interview, and I promised to have that matter basically looked into. And as far as the STA director is concerned, the minister was unaware of any decision taken by the STA board to finalize it. So according to her, it is still at the STA board for advising, and she has not received any response from the STA board.
Okay. And Backstreet, do you have an exact date when it's going to start? I know you don't like to go on dates, but do you have an exact date when the resurfacing will start?
You know, I will post a picture again with you sleeping during statements. I addressed that a while ago. Rewind the tape. I did say that we have the groundbreaking, and I said work would have to commence anytime soon, and I did say probably while I'm speaking they may have started, but I'm not sure if they did. But the groundbreaking took place, the financing is in place, the contract is in place, so within short, and I said probably and hopefully they have started already, but if they did not, work will begin soon on the Backstreet upgrade.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your questions, Andrew. Second round begins. Bibi Hadshaw, you have the floor.
Thank you, Cedric. Minister Lee, about 6 weeks ago maybe, we've had an uproar with, or even over that, with patients that were transferred to Santo Domingo and even Curacao complaining about what goes on at SZV with referrals and their daily allowance. What I need to know, does patients, and when I say patients, I want to be very specific, I'm talking about staff members of SZV, do they have special privileges that they can stay at the Renaissance Hotel in Curacao and get using their time? Because SZV had openly said that patients that leave here to go abroad for medical treatment is abusing the medical referral, using it for vacation, they're using it for buying a ring and all kinds of stuff. But here is it, there is a staff of SZV that is in a senior position, now on medical referral, on vacation also, and is staying at the Renaissance Hotel in Curacao, but our patients can't get their daily allowance. I called you the other night, the director of SZV called me. So I'm asking you if you know if there is any special procedure or if there is some kind of class treatment within SZV. I wouldn't want to call it class justice, I said class treatment.
Yeah, you did contact me the other day, and my answer to you then is the same as it is now, which is contact the director of SZV, and I'm sure he can inform you. As a matter of fact, I know you contacted the director of SZV, so you have your answer already from him. I don't actually know what the answer was, so it's sort of a odd question. You already know the answer to your questions.
Correction, Minister Lee, I do not have the answer. I know the director is saying that he's investigating.
Okay, well, that's
So-
an answer.
So that's
So that's your
he
answer.
That's
also
an answer.
knows what I'm talking about. But do you find it to be normal? Is it a normal procedure?
He's investigating it.
Right. He's investigating. And you know what? I think it's important, if you missed, and I realize there's a lot of hype prior to elections. For the first time ever, a performance contract's been signed between the ministry and the director of SZV. And in the performance contract, some of the points that are mentioned are exactly about reporting and streamlining the referral process, feedback in terms of what went well, what didn't go right, in terms of bringing down operational costs as a percentage of total budget. So all of the things that, in the end, actually what you're discussing are addressed in the performance agreement, which is the first time that it's been signed with the director. So that's the structural fix. In terms of these, one-off cases, again, as you mentioned yourself, the director is going to investigate the matter himself.
And it is also the first time, Minister Lee, that St. Martin, USZV, has a director who from the time he was appointed should have had a performance contract in his hand, which he got late. So while you're saying it's the first time we have a performance contract, also mention it is the first time we're having a director of USZV on St. Martin.
Thank you for pointing out another one of the accomplishments of the Minister of VSA. I agree with you. It's the first time that a director has been correctly appointed to the position at SZV. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister Lee, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
Thank you, Bibi.
Thank you very much, Bibi, for your questions. Andrew, since you don't have any for the second round, we do have at least 2 minutes left. Is there a follow-up question that you might have at this time, Ms. Hardshaw?
Do you really want that?
Actually, if you really want me to answer that question honestly, no, I don't. We can move on, but I'm allowing you the opportunity if you have one.
Prime Minister, can you tell us at least when we are going to, if you have an idea, by the way, when the move from this building will be completed to the other building?
Tomorrow night.
Wow, so there will be no longer.
You know what's interesting about what is taking place now? You guys seem to get bored about having this much time on your hand, and
No, not really.
it's like you fabricate. Let me see what I can ask. Ask a question for the sake of asking. I just said that the process will take some weeks, probably some months. I have no clue when it will be completed. When it is, it will be. And when it's nearing completion, we will announce that within the next week or two. But right now, it is absolutely senseless to go speculate that it will take 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And like I jokingly at the time said, on July 1st, I will be making a move, and some members in the media, choose to make it one big headline. So I would rather see other things talked about than the fact that the Prime Minister said the move will be completed in 6 months, or 3 months, or 4 months, and then that becomes a story on its own. There was to be an announcement, I think, by a production by the Minister of Education. Was it to be inserted?
That will
in
be
this
inserted
hour?
in tonight's broadcast,
Or in
correct?
tonight, so
Yes.
not in the live broadcast?
Not in the live
All right,
broadcast.
then they have missed it.
Yeah.
But I know the minister would have wanted to speak on the observance of Constitution Day, which has been established by Parliament as the second Monday of October. This year, coincidentally, the second day of October falls on the 10th of October, which is the actual date of what we would call our Constitution Day, 10/10 of 2010. It will be celebrated in 2016 on the 10th as well, because the 10th is a Monday, and the minister has a program that she is working on, or that has been worked on. Unfortunately, she is not here to provide us with the details of the information. I know it will be released in the course of this week, but October 10th will be a holiday.